morning, YouTube. Finally made it after about 2.5 hours of driving. I finally made it to JD Cycle Works here in Pennsylvania. Finally get the bike dialed in. This is my setup. That's my truck. Here's the bike. I already took the bags off. They're sitting inside my truck to get this all taken care of and hopefully get the bike right. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna wait while they do their thing. So hopefully it will be a good turnout and I get better numbers. Magic is about to happen. She's already all tightened up. He's moving shuffling some stuff around. He'll be here shortly to start hooking it up and see how it does. I'm very optimistic based on what he said that he'll be able to get better numbers out of it. I will post a picture of the previous dyno session I had done in Daytona, and then his numbers at the end of this. So let's see, hopefully it'll work out.
Hello everyone, it's Dave from JD Cycle Works. Today we had a guy come up from Maryland. He's had a heck of a year with his motorcycle. First he had a dealer install a cam for him and it wasn't running very well, so he brought it down to Daytona and he had it retuned down there to take care of it. Still had some issues he wasn't happy with, so he brought it up here. But the fun didn't end there. So he came up here with the brand new Power Vision and copy of his license on a thumb drive. So we figured no big deal. The Power Vision comes with a license. Even if the thumb drive's no good, we're good. So I hook up to the bike and unfortunately he lent it to a friend. And unfortunately that license got consumed on that person's bike. So we went for the license on a thumb drive. Well, that would turn out to be all kinds of weird hieroglyphics on a thumb drive. So that didn't work out. Long story short, we have a solution. We just ended up using the TTS on it to tune it, which isn't what we were hoping for, but we got the job done.
Just got to Victor's. Just got back from JD Cycle Works. I couldn't make it up there with him, but
Right here.
yeah, you got to shout him out because he definitely took care of my man right here.
Definitely did.
I'm gonna let him talk about it, tell you all his trials and tribulations with the bike and getting it properly tuned. I don't know how in depth you want to go into it, cost and all that, but it was definitely a struggle. The bike is making, it should be quicker than mine right now. It should be. Again, I'll let him talk about the numbers and everything like that, get into what he had to go through. But give us a second here. We'll get properly hydrated with some adult beverages, and then we'll talk to you about what Victor got done and what he had to go through. Hang on. All right, back with my man. He's got the numbers. I'm gonna let him get into it.
All right, so a couple months ago, you can find the video. I decided to do a full stage 2 on the bike and go with a cam and all that. without speaking to Orlando, I made a decision to take my bike to Harley to get the stuff done. The work was done correctly. They put the right parts in it. But when I went to pick up the bike, they did not put the bike on the dyno. They just put a preset tune on the bike. The bike was running a little rough, and I expressed my concern to Orlando. But it was about that time where we went down to Daytona. So I decided to ride the bike like that in Daytona and just tough it out until I could get it dynoed. While we were in Daytona, there was one of the vendors that had a dyno there, and they were working on the bikes. I happened to have the thumb drive with the license for my bike to get it dynoed. I was able to get a last minute appointment for the last day of bike week early in the morning. So I took the bike to them. They were able to put it on the dyno and dyno the bike. But I felt as though the numbers were still low. I was happy with it at the time. The bike was running good. It was running perfect. But I felt like it still had a little bit more to it. Long story short, I finally decided to listen to Orlando, and I reached out to JD's Cycle Works.
Yeah, and shout out to SJ Bagger, because he's the one that put me onto him. So.
Yes. So I reached out to Dave.
Yep.
And I booked an appointment. So he's booked out a couple of months.
Yeah, this was back in
in March.
Yeah.
So I got the appointment for June 16th of this year. I just took the bike there today, which today was my appointment. And while I was there, I took my tuner, my thumb drive, and we're getting ready to tune the bike. He puts it on the lift, he hooks everything up. I'm excited. I'm like, finally, this mastermind is gonna get the maximum power out of my bike. Come to find out, my thumb drive was empty. It was corrupted. So I lost my license to the dyno tune because the thumb drive got corrupted, and there was nothing in the thumb drive. Like, it was empty files. All the files were gone. He expressed to me, he's like, don't worry about it, because with the DynoJet tuner, because I bought the actual brain, the actual tuner itself, the little square box, I don't know how to call it. He's like, there's a license with that, I could use that. Then I expressed to him, I was like, I don't think there's a license with it, because I gave it to a friend of mine so he could put it on his bike. He's like, well, let me see if I could pull the license from the bike with the tuner. He tried everything he could with the DynoJet tuner. He couldn't pull the license. He couldn't get into the system and actually see what was on the bike because we didn't have the license. I reached out to DynoJet online and I bought another license.
Mind you, this was all today.
This was all today. I bought the license, and when I bought the license, it said it was available in stock. I bought it online. You should get an email back with the license number, and then we're good to go. Waited over 2 hours, email never came through, and they charged the money for the license. I'm already down another $270 something on top of the $700 that I paid in Daytona for the tuning, on top of whatever I paid to Harley to tune this bike and put all the parts.
And how many hours do you have at Dave's at this point?
At Dave's, I probably had about 3.5 hours there. So Dave's is like, you know, he's trying to help me out with all of this, and he expressed concern with DynoJet. He's like, look, I've been having a lot of issues with DynoJet with the licenses, and I've been having issues with the data to upload. He's like, I'm seeing it more and more with the DynoJet that is getting corrupted. The dynos are getting corrupted on the bike, and then people losing their licenses. And he's like, and it's an issue that I expressed to DynoJet. DynoJet, actually, the guy over the phone told me to shut up and listen. He was like, which customer service shouldn't be that good.
That's terrible.
And at this point, I'm getting irritated with the tuner DynoJet. So I asked him, I was like, what do you recommend? He's like, let's just try to wait it out. He's like, I hate to do this to you. He's like, if not, I'm gonna have to send you home and you won't be able to tune your bike. So I was like, I felt like I was wasting his time and I was wasting my time and my day off dealing with all of this nonsense. I was like, is there anything you can do to just get this done and over with? So he recommended, he's like, I don't really want to do this because I'm not into pushing for sales. He's like, I'm more of a straight up guy. He's like, I can sell you the tuner and put it on the bike, but if I was you, I will wait until DynoJet sends you the tuner that you paid for.
The license, yep.
The license that you paid for. Me being me, I was like, no, I feel like I'm wasting your time. Go ahead and put the tuner in. Get rid of the DynoJet. He insisted. He's like, just wait. Let's try to figure it out. Once again, I felt like I was wasting his time. And his time is valuable since I had to wait 3 months to get my bike in there. So I decided to just purchase his tuner and get the bike retuned.
It's not his tuner, it's just a tuner that Dave likes to use.
TTS.
Yep.
TTS tuner. That's the tuner that he likes to use, and he's very good with it and all
It's
that.
a tuner that's on my bike.
And he hasn't had any issues with the tuner. So I went with it. I told him, go ahead and do it. Then comes the issue where we got to check your O2 sensors to make sure they're not encrypted. We got to make sure that I'm able to pull the tune that is on the bike. That way I have a baseline to work with it. He's like, let me try to work my magic. So at this point, I'm like 4 hours into it. Be mindful, I got there at 7:30 in the morning. This was almost at 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
In the morning.
In the morning, I'm sorry. So he was able to check the O2 sensors. They were good. He was able to pull the data off of the bike. And then he started from there to build up. So the bike was in there for about 2 hours, roughly.
And we'll throw the dyno sheets up on the screen. We'll put the before and after stuff on there, so you
Yeah,
guys...
I have the dyno sheet from Daytona. I'm gonna tell you the numbers of that one, that where the bike was at when it came out of Harley and where they got it up to, and then I'm gonna go with the numbers for today. So when I took it to Daytona, the max power I had on my bike was 97 horsepower. When they were done with it, they got it up to 106. The max torque, when it came out of Harley, was 106, and they got it up to 117. This was at Daytona.
So at Daytona, you were sitting at 106 horsepower and 117 foot-pounds of torque?
Yes. Today, when the bike went in, he did a run. The first run he did, the bike was at 108 horsepower, and it was at 117 foot-pounds per torque. By the time he was done with the new tuner and everything, he got the torque from 117 to 124, and he got the max power from 108 to 115. If we compare the top number, the 124 and the 115, to when the bike came out of Harley, that it was supposedly tuned, technically it went up from 97 horsepower to 115 horsepower. And it went up from 106 torque to 124. That's a big jump.
Yeah, and this isn't a knock on Harley. Harley's going to keep things mild because they don't want to damage your engines. So they're not going to try to, like, at least from my experience, they're not going to try to go all out, give you the most out of, like, the power and torque that you can get out of these bikes. Yeah. Just out of, like, concern that they'll hurt something, you know what I mean? And I get that.
Yeah, but when the bike came out and he showed me the numbers, he allowed me to be back there and see the numbers for myself once he did the run. I was really impressed. The bike sounds completely different from when it started. You could hear the difference on the bike. You could feel the power. And I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. Yes, I ended up spending an extra $500 on the tuner. It was actually, I'm gonna tell you right now. The tuner was $459.95. So I had to spend an extra $459.95 on the tuner, and the tuning was $595. So I ended up spending a total of $1,000, a little bit over $1,000 today, where I wasn't planning on spending that much, but I had to do it in order to get this bike done and over with. Overall, I'm just saying this stuff to y'all, and I'm putting it out there. That way y'all don't make the same mistake I made. Okay? In reality, I ended up spending an extra $2,000. Actually, an extra, I would say about $2,500 total.
This is between.
This is between all the tuning in Daytona, Harley. I'm not counting how much I paid Harley to get this stuff
or
on.
Or what you paid in parts or anything
or
like that.
what I paid in parts and all of that. I'm just counting the excess that I had to pay in order to get it right. I ended up spending about $2,500 additional to the 30-something hundred that I've already had spent to get this stuff done. Then if I would have listened to Orlando and taken the bike from the beginning to JD's, and my bike would have been done, and I probably would have saved a total of $2,800 instead of spending an extra $25.
You guys can check our videos. I did the numbers when I did my bike. It's been, well, damn, it's been a year. It was last June when I took my bike up there, and I mean, I haven't had any issues. And
nope.
I was ready to buy like the whole S&S kit with like the oil pump and everything like that. I got it up to JD. He's like, look, man, this is a second gen M8 motor. You don't really need any of that extra stuff. So we did a couple things, but it was really mainly just changing out the camshaft and like putting it on the dyno, setting it free. So I don't know. I feel like when you're not trying to just sell people and like take their money on stuff that they don't actually need, that to me makes a lot of sense, and it just makes me want to come back to you, like your business. Which I try to explain that to him, and then again, it's just growing pains. So here we are, and he's finally got the bike done right. I mean, shit, it's been raining most of the day, but once it's warm out and stuff, we're gonna let it rip, and we'll line the bikes up against each other. And again, he's putting out a little more torque than I am, so there should be, if we're not staying up to like comparable to how we like should be up lining up to each other, we should be staying with each other. Victor should be taking off on me. So, and again, we'll see that when we get on there and just get at it. And again, we're not building these bikes to race or anything. It's just
it's just to have fun and actually have something good and something to talk about.
Yeah, and just enjoy the bikes at the end of the day. So,
but it was a very painful lesson, over $2,500 lesson that I'm trying to put it out there to y'all. That way, y'all don't make the same mistakes that I did, because I didn't listen to what he was telling me from the beginning. And I found myself lately telling him this more often. I should have listened to you. I should have listened to you. I should have listened to you. You know, again, I'm more of a spur of the moment type of guy. Yeah. I make my decision and that's it. I'll go get it. He's more of the thinker.
I'll sit down and do my research. I have no problem waiting for things to come in. Again, I enjoy, again, I'm a YouTuber guy. I don't know shit about bikes. Like, I know as much as you guys, you know what I mean? We enjoy these things. If something breaks, we figure it out. I mean, we're not breaking these motors apart or anything like that, but I enjoy sitting down and watching other YouTubers, see what they have to say, just reading different articles of like different cams and different things you can do to the bike to get them to a point where you want to be at. And again, not having all this knowledge or anything, but I can read, so I sit in there and that's what I do. And again, I have a little more patience than he does. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
So,
but lesson learned, like I told him, from here on out, I'm going to run everything back past him, because he's more of a thinker and more of a...
And this is not to say that I don't give him my opinion. Like, he gets my opinion, but...
A lot.
We're all adults, right? We're going to make our own decisions. So.
Yes. So, but now his opinion is going to be... It's going to have a bigger weight. So I'm going to start listening to what he says and going with what he says, because I'm sick and tired of spending all this money over dumb mistakes.
It does get
Over dumb
expensive.
mistakes. You know, now I have a dyno tuner sitting there that I don't need, that I spent $600 on.
If anybody wants it, hit him up.
I have a whole bunch of stuff that I spent money that I'm just having to throw away because I made the wrong decision. But lesson learned. You live and you learn. But that's where we at with that.
On that note, we are basically, it is June 16th. We're gearing up for Sturgis. This will be our second time going. Hopefully it's not as bad. Last time we went, it was just raining most of the time, so it was a bit miserable. But
And it was cold.
yeah, it was really cold. So hopefully this time around, just the weather's better. And then we'll put out a bunch of videos on that as well.
Yeah, we're getting everything squared away, the truck, and getting our tents and stuff, because we're doing it different this year. We're going to tent camp. Well, Orlando's going to
I'm
tent
in a
camp.
tent camp, yeah.
I'm going to trailer camp. So, but but yeah, we're getting everything set up to go down there and have some fun. He's more of a planner, so he already got it.
I got a whole PDF file set up, like what we're doing each day. So
Yeah, so it's a good
we like
plan.
to keep a schedule.
Yeah.
We'll start the bike up for you guys if you want, just so you can hear it. And
Yeah.
I mean, the mic on these things isn't going to do it justice, but again, just so you guys get an idea.
And we'll post the dyno sheet from Daytona, and then after that we'll post a new one. That way you can see the numbers for yourself. Yeah. Let's try this.
Hang on.